Hey everybody, Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears TV, and we're in the Grease and Gears garage for another episode of this old chopper. The Springer front end. Favorite of chopper kids from now and since they first invented them. But having a Springer front end does alleviate a lot of your problems on a motorcycle. What it does not do is excuse it from maintenance. What we're going to be doing today is addressing an older pair of rockers that are ready for some service. And I'm actually going to take the route of the oil light bushing because I'm familiar with the operations of McMaster car. A little bit of measuring and figuring. I can have these in my hand in a day. So a couple things real quick. We have the rockers off. This is going to be one of your most important tools for doing this kind of work. It's pretty easy to learn how to use one of these, but today they make them even easier because you can convert it over to inches a lot of times, where it'll literally just read the inch markings to you rather than the decimals. The more time you spend on it, the better off your ride is going to be. What that requires is you to take the time to shim the rockers to the front end. We're going to go through that, but I wanted to show you guys while we get to that point. I keep all of my shims and pretty much everything that I need for this kind of operation in a little organizer box. Heather is going to hate me for showing you these things because I do this with everything, with my carburetor stuff. Anything that I have a specific function for, I try to put in an organizer box. It just gives me the ability to have like all of my shim selections and the different hardware that I use for this operation. I know are going to be in this box, and I also know when I'm out of them if I need to order more. So for a lot of other more well-equipped garages, well-equipped I guess, they'll have specialty tools for doing stuff like I'm going to work the arbor press right now. They'll have actual, press pins and stuff. I find that going over and finding a socket that closely fits the dimension of what I'm pressing out is just as good. We're going to take this to the arbor press out the old bearings, press in the new bushings, and then move on. Okay, what I should have reminded myself and you at the beginning of that segment is I've already taken the opportunity to measure this housing, and I know that it's a 1/2 inch. So when I order my bushings, my oil light bushings from McMaster car, I know to get the 1/2 inch corresponding bushings. I also order these according to the hardware that I'm going to be using on them. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to go about this too. I'm actually going to be utilizing the same kind of stock hardware that comes in like a Paco Springer. So it has a 1/4 inch shoulder. I'm going to put these 1/4 inch axle spacers on the outside, and that'll leave me a certain amount of space on the inside that I'll have to use for the washer and the shims so that I get a nice tight fit. What I'm going to do now is take our rocker housing and actually start to assemble one at a time. First, the back pivot bolt. I'm going to set the shoulder bolt in with the washer and a selection of spacers. Now I'm going to start out, because I did the other side already, I'm going to start out with two 20,000 spacers and two 16,000 spacers, and we're going to take a measurement with our feeler gauge with the hardware tight and see where we end up with that. This is why I said, our little compartmentalized box, so you can have a bunch of the different shim spacers and stuff to do this work. So let's start with that. Once we get the correct shim size so that we're down for around 3 or 4 thousandths of space in that, then we're going to move to the front, do the same thing, make sure that we have nice tight assembly. We'll put both of them together and then check the overall for any movement. Okay, so we got the front end back together, front wheel on, made sure we checked the bounce to make sure that we weren't getting hung up anywhere. And the bike is sitting great. It's got a great profile, but this was about repairing some old stuff, so it looks like we're good. The only thing that's left is a test ride. Check it out and make sure everything's working as it should. Pay attention to the wheel as you're going down the road, and barring any complications there, we're all set. All right, so way bigger difference in the way the motorcycle was riding. That the front end's nice and tight now. The steering feels good, and you should be good for a good long time. But remember, Springer front end, has some responsibilities to it. These are serviceable parts, so look out for the next opportunity you have to spend some time with your motorcycle. Until then, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Greasing Gears Garage.